Hello guys, welcome back to another video. Welcome back to my channel. So there has been a major mid-air collision occurred at Washington DC involving an American Eagle flight 5342 carrying 64 passengers colliding with the US Army's UH-60 Blackhawk chopper from the 12th Aviation Brigade of a Bravo company carrying 3 soldiers on board. So this event marks the deadliest mid-air accident in US aviation history based on the casualty rates. Since 2009, if you can recollect, the deadliest air crash of Continental Airlines, or aka Colgan Air Flight 3407, which is a Bombardier -AQ 400, crashed in Buffalo, USA, killing all 50 lives. So, alright, so let's get into the deep analysis of what exactly caused this deadliest mid-air accident in Washington, D.C. So, without further ado, let's get started right away. Alright guys, so as you can see on my screen, so this is the Bombardier CRJ 700ER with a registration as November 709 Papa Sierra. So this CRJ 700 is powered by two General Electric CF34-8C 5B1 engines with a thrust range at 18,000 pounds of force, and also it carries the passenger capacity between 64 to 70 passengers, a very well suitable aircraft for regional connectivity as well. So its airframe's MSN registration is 10165 and its age is over 20 years old. So it's a very old airframe indeed. And also speaking about the passenger profile, so as per the reports that there were 60 passengers and 4 crew members on board. Among them, there were 2 Russian nationals who was also on board this flight. All right, so now let's get into the profile of the US Army's UH-60 Blackhawk. So let's get into it. All right, guys, so as you can see on my screen, so this is the US Army's Sikorsky UH-60R Blackhawk helicopter involved in a mid-air collision with the American Eagle Flight 5342 at Washington. So first, let's speak about the configuration here. So this helicopter is powered by 2 T700 General Electric 701D engines with a shaft horsepower of 1972. So speaking about this particular helicopter, she was involved in many combat missions. And speaking about the combat missions, it has a very good combat radius of over 380 miles. And also she can cruise with a ferry flight with a maximum range of over 1980 miles. So this particular chopper can carry over 11 soldiers plus with 2 crew members, and also optionally they can also carry more equipment as well. So this UH-60 Blackhawk has been using over 34 countries, and it also has multiple variants of this platform, like the firefighting variant of the UH-60 Blackhawk. You must have seen about the Los Angeles fire incident, where these UH-60s with the fire hydrants was equipped. So they were heavily modified, and later it became as the core platform for both for the military and also for the firefighting, and including the civilian operations as well. So this particular chopper, which involved in a mid-air collision with the American Eagle CRJ 700 at Washington, was actually belonged to the 12th Aviation Brigade located at a Davison Army Airfield at Fort Belvoir. Right. So according to the media reports, that they were carrying Bravo company of 3 soldiers on board. All right. So now let's get into the sequence of events on what led to this deadliest mid-air collision at Washington, D.C. So let's dive into it right away. Alright guys, so as you can see on my screen, so this is the Flightradar 24 data of American Eagle Flight 5342 bound from Wichita's Dwight Eisenhower National Airport to Washington's Ronald Reagan National Airport. So let's start the sequence here, scrolling down to Wichita here. So this is the Eisenhower Airport here. So the plane departed at 11:30 p.m. UTC, carrying 60 passengers and 4 crew members on board. and among them there were 2 Russian nationals were on board as well, according to media reports. So let's look at a graph here. So again, you can see at the initial climb, well, it is well stable, so no hiccups in the initial climb, and also during the mid-flight as well. So they are maintaining at a targeting cruising altitude at 33,000 feet with 581 knots. So there's no issue in the mid-flight, but now let's scroll it down here as the CRJ enters into the Washington airspace. So first, the American Eagle Flight 5342 is now maintaining its ILS approach, targeting at runway 01, which is right here. So this is the Ronald Reagan National Airport here. So this is the runway 01. Okay, so this is the runway 01, and the ATC has instructed to divert its landing approach from runway 01 ILS to visual flight rules of runway 33, which is right here. So this is a bit short airstrip compared to runway 01, which is in fact a larger airstrip. So for that case, let me show you the flight map of Ronald Reagan National Airport as well, so that you guys can get a clear clarity of why ATC has instructed this American Eagle Flight 5342 from runway 01 ILS to runway 33 with VFR approach. So let's show you that Ronald Reagan Airport map. All right, so this is the layout of Ronald Reagan National Airport at Washington. So you can see that first, initially, the American Eagle Flight 5342 was about to prepare for landing at runway 01. And if I can zoom in here, so you can see this is the runway length of 7,169 feet, so which is a very large runway. Even it can handle both for long haul aircrafts. But when ATC instructed to shift from runway 01 to runway 33, you can see the runway length, it is just very short at 5,204 feet. You can see this is the runway length, right? So usually for any regional aircrafts, shorter runways would be sufficient compared to long runways, but depending on the traffic frequency, sometimes ATC instructs to divert the runway approach from one runway to another runway, because usually because of a very peak traffic periods, one runway has to operate for only takeoffs and another runway has to operate for landings. But at that particular time, there was a very heavy peak air traffic in and around Washington, and also that too in the night time, so it's very risky. So that is where the ATC thought that due to a very heavy traffic approaches coming closer, so one of the CRJ, that is the American Eagle Flight 5342, instructed them to shift from runway 01 ILS to runway 33 with the VFR approach. So they're going to follow the river pattern, that is the Potomac River pattern. So let's show you that map as well. All right, guys, so as you can see on my screen, so this is the Washington airspace here. So you can check out at SkyVector aeronautical charts. Right, so now let's scroll down here. So this is the Ronald Reagan National Airport in Washington. And if you look around the Ronald Reagan National Airport, on the above is the prohibited airspace. So this is where you have US President's White House, you have Capitol building here, and you also have Pentagon as well. So many of the commercial aircrafts, wherever departing from runway 01 or either runway 33, pilots will try to divert either through left or right respectively. Okay, so now let's get into the sequence of events here. So like I said, previously, when American Eagle Flight 5342 was on final approach at runway 01 and ATC instructed to shift from runway 01 to runway 33, so the American Eagle pilots were usually following the Potomac River, that is the visual flight rule. So they might take right up here, then make left turn to make the final approach at runway 33. And if you guys notice this blue line, so this blue line is the Washington DC's helicopter. So basically these helicopters are actually the US military secret service helicopters also operating throughout the Washington airspace here. All right, so as you can see here, so according to some reports that the 12th Aviation Brigade of UH-60 chopper was flying through Route 1 here following the Potomac River. So basically all choppers follows the visual flight rules in this context here. So if I can scroll down exactly here, so this is the maximum altitude they have to cruise throughout the Potomac River, which is at 300 feet. And then as soon as they reach at Ronald Reagan Airport, they have to descend to 200 feet just near to the Washington Monument. So from 200 feet, they have to maintain the same altitude until they cross to Wilson Bridge and again regain the altitude to 300 feet. So now in this situation, let me give you an example here. Imagine on my left hand, this is the CRJ 700 here, and on my right hand is the US military's UH-60 Blackhawk. So like I said, when this chopper is maintaining at 200 feet and when the CRJ was maintaining a final approach at runway 33 here, so they have to watch carefully and also visually check where the chopper is and is the airspace is safe or not. But especially when it comes to nighttime conditions, US pilots, especially in the military division, they always rely on night vision goggles here. But let me tell you, the disadvantage of night vision goggles is when it comes to the surroundings here. So this airport is surrounded with many city center. It is in the city center, guys, you can see. Right, so everything is illuminated with the lights, and so for US pilots using night vision goggles, it is very risky to check where the aircraft is it on a final approach, and you can't even visually watch it carefully because it's a pitch black there outside. Right, so they have to maintain 200 feet, which is a US chopper here, and the CRJ has to make a final approach, and they have to watch carefully here because for CRJ pilots, they don't even know where the chopper is, and also, to be honest, they can't even hear the noise where the chopper is, right? So obviously you are sitting in the cockpit cabin and you're only focusing on preparing your final approach checklist, right? So that is where a lot of risk, especially at this particular flight path. Okay, so then after crossing the Wilson Bridge, so the chopper has to cruise at 300 feet and then they head towards to Davison Army Airfield at Fort Belvoir. I also like to show you the ATC panel where it has detected a collision alert between the American Eagle Flight 5342 and the US Army's UH-60 Blackhawk. So let me show you that footage right away. All right, guys, so as you can see on my screen, so this is the ATC recordings between the air traffic controller at Ronald Reagan National Airport and the American Eagle Flight 5342 on final approach at runway 01. So let's play this clip and see what's going on behind the scenes.
Tower 5342 on Mount Vernon visual runway 1.
Associate 5342 Washington Tower 1 star 32 Zurich 17 cross 25. You take runway 33?
Yeah, we can do 33 for Blue 6342.
Associate 5342 at the Wilson Bridge, thanks for runway 33, runway 33 clear to land.
Thanks for runway 33 for land 6342.
All right, so let's pause this clip here, and you have noticed at the first clip there that ATC has asked, can you change it to runway 33, and later the American Eagle Flight has responded saying yes, we can do for landing at runway 33, and then ATC has instructed to make a visual flight rule approach, that is after crossing the bridge and then taking a right turn and then banking left to make the final approach at runway 33 here. So you must have heard that Blue Streak 5342 is the call sign for the American Eagle Flight 5342, and right above here is the PAT 25. So this PAT 25 is none other than the US Army's UH-60 Blackhawk from the 12th Aviation Brigade heading via Route 1 flight path and maintaining at 400 feet. They are just closing near to the Ronald Reagan National Airport right here. So let's continue this clip and see what's going on next.
Yes, 789, 1 star, 320 to 15, Gus Q5, traffic 2 out, no delay, runway 16 takeoff.
Takeoff, runway 1, no delay. Washington American 3130 with you, runway 1.
American 3130, Washington Tower, 1 star, 310 to 14, Gus Q5, runway 16 land, traffic depart, may depart for arrival.
Okay, clear to land, runway 1, American 3130.
All right, so let's pause this clip right here. All right, so first of all, I'd like to give a big shout out to VAS Aviation. He did an excellent job coordinating with the ATC Recorrdings and also showcasing the flight map as well. And like I've shown you previously from Skynet's Aerocharts, I think VAS Aviation did an excellent job capturing this flight map, coordinating exactly the flight path of American Eagle Flight 5342, which is right exactly here, and PAT 25 following the route 1 at 300 feet. So now let us see what the conversations of the ATC with PAT 25. So let me show you that clip as well.
Yes, 789, contact don't mark today.
Okay.
American 7130, slow to final.
Well, American 3130.
PAT 25, traffic just off the World Bridge is here today is 1,200 feet, start runway 33. This separate crew. American 1630 Tower, runway 1, lock void, traffic up, start runway 33, this up 16 on final.
Runway 1.
All right, so let me pause it right here. So you have noticed that while ATC was transmitting to PAT 25, alerting that there is an incoming CRJ at 1200 feet approaching to runway 33. So the PAT 25 has reported saying that yes, they have a visual of this aircraft via runway 33, and they also asked for visual separation, and then the ATC has immediately approved for visual separation. So that is a general procedure when it comes to any aircraft nearing, approaching to their flight path. So let's continue this clip right here.
Whiskey 6307, keep rolling out to November, South 47 today. American 16, turn to 1 star, 320 14, Gus 25, traffic 2 mile left base, runway 33, no delay, runway 16 for immediate takeoff.
Number 1, clear for takeoff, American 1630.
PAT 25, get the CRJ in flight. PAT 25, pass on this CRJ.
This club has a aircraft in flight precision separation.
Good separation.
All right, so as soon as they were very near to the airport here, immediately at the ATC panel, you can see on the left side of the screen, there is a collision alert system triggered, and then immediately asked about PAT 25, did you see the CRJ? And he again said that yes, I couldn't see the CRJ, and again he requested for visual separation, and again he approved. But here, when you have noticed while playing the clip, there's an altitude deviation taking place with the UH-60 Blackhawk. It was actually supposed to be at 200 feet, but suddenly he just pitched near to 300 feet, and I do not know why. But as soon as when this chopper was at 300 feet and this American Eagle CRJ was just at 400 feet near to runway 33, this is where seconds from disaster has triggered. So let's play this.
American 4782, my BAT number and visual.
American 472, Washington, 1 star, 32017.
All right, so you have seen there's a flash explosion here showing that they make contact with the CRJ by this UH-60 chopper, and then it crashed into the Potomac River. And this is the clip that what you can see here. And let me show you in a very broad angle view of this clip. So here it is. All right, guys, so this is the broader view of the footage, what you have seen in the ATC recordings there. So courtesy to EarthCam, right? So let's play this footage. And before we play the footage, you can see clearly that this is the American Eagle Flight 5342 on final approach at runway 33. And the moment when I play the clip, on the left side, you can see there's the beacon lights coming through. That is, in fact, the PAT 25, which is US Army's UH-60 Blackhawk chopper closing in towards the CRJ's final approach path. So now at that particular moment, the ATC was warning to PAT-25 that did you really see the CRJ? And then the PAT-25 respondedly saying, yes, I saw the CRJ. I'm requesting for a visual separation, and said, yes, visual separation approved. Then even though this UH-60 pilot didn't change the altitude and still maintain at 300 feet, and as soon as the CRJ reached near to 300 feet, there is an explosion that shows that both aircrafts collided each other and then crashed into the Potomac River, killing all 64 passengers on American Eagle flight and 3 soldiers on UH-60 Blackhawk chopper. So this shows that it is indeed the deadliest mid-air accident ever seen in US history since 2009. If you guys recollect the crash of Kogan Air Flight 3407, which is the Bombardier Dash AQ400 of Continental Airlines, crashed in Buffalo, USA, killing all 50 lives. Okay, so let's rewind this footage back and let me show you clearly exactly right up here. So just moments before the impact, you can clearly see that this is the UH-60 Blackhawk illuminating with the rotating beacon light. So it is still on right there. Okay, so now, like I said previously, that when ATC has warned PAT-32 that there is a CRJ on its way, and even though PAT-32 is saying that, okay, I saw the CRJ, I request for visual separation, and even ATC approved it, what did UH-60 pilots thinking about? That is this the CRJ coming through, or was it another CRJ? But it clearly shows that there is a CRJ on its way. So it was coming like this, and this UH-60 was like this right here. So they must have been confused, and when ATC was saying that PAT-25 passed over the CRJ, so that is where that the pilots were still maintaining at 300 feet, and when this CRJ was reaching at 300 feet, they both collided right at that moment. So the question is that when it comes to situation awareness, maybe that UH-60 pilots must have misunderstood at that visual identification of this CRJ, even though when wearing the night vision goggles also, like I said, that visibility is very difficult when it comes to the surrounding areas illuminating with multiple lights. So I think situation awareness is one thing that I felt suspicious from the UH-60 pilot's case. And second thing is when it comes to the communication channel. See, ATC has a communication channels between the American Eagle Flight 5342 and PAT-25 respectively, but they don't have communication channels between American Eagle 5342 and PAT-25 because their frequencies are different. Because clearly see that UH-60 Blackhawk of this PAT-25 is a military aircraft, and the American Eagle Flight 5342 is a civilian aircraft. So both have different frequencies. But when ATC has warned about a PAT-25, well, in that particular situation, he should have asked which flight number, or so that they can immediately change to that frequency and communicate with the CRJ pilot that I'm on my way, so move aside. So, well, that communication channel is very limited here. So that is one piece of a puzzle missing there. But another major critical factor here is what I was surprised is about the TCAS system. So TCAS is nothing but traffic collision avoidance system. So all of the aircrafts are mandated with the TCAS systems here, and including in the ATC also. You can see on that panel, which I've shown you previously with the CA word, shows that there is a collision alert. So that alarm will chime in the ATC tower saying that there is a aircraft approaching through, so you have to deviate your course. But what's going on inside the cockpit? That did the TCAS trigger that there is an incoming traffic up ahead? And even from the UH-60 pilots also, that did the TCAS trigger? Well, that piece of a puzzle also I'm not exactly sure until we get the details from the cockpit voice recorder and flight data recorders, which is what as of today, just now they recovered it. So hopefully they may find that piece of a puzzle, that what exactly caused this crash. So did the TCAS triggered it, or was there any communication confusion with the US-60 pilots? Because I am focusing on the US-60 pilots here, because even in the ATC radar, you have seen there's an altitude fluctuation between the 200 feet and 300 feet. So while they were following through to the Potomac River just near to the Ronald Reagan Airport, they actually have to cruise at 200 feet as what you have seen in the Aerocharts there. So why did this chopper suddenly lift it to 300 feet there? So I think that is exactly where that investigators have to look into that puzzle. So there is so much mystery here about who is responsible and who to take accountable in this accident. So like I said, once again, guys, that this is indeed one of the biggest mid-air accidents we've never ever seen in US history. So ultimately, it's up to the investigation team involving the NTSB, which is the National Transportation Safety Board, taking the initiative of finding the exact cause of the crash. But obviously, guys, for any mid-air accidents, and as we are advancing through to the technologies, to prevent such situations, TCAS is a very core module there to ensure that whenever if there is any incoming aircraft right just up ahead of your flight path, they have to ensure that whether do you have to rely on the TCAS instruments, and also optionally ATC will also warn you that there's an incoming aircraft up ahead, a report visual inside. So I can correlate the same factor what happened between the Bashkarian Airlines flight 2937 and DHL flight 611, and by the way, that is one of the biggest mid-air accidents in aviation history. That also shows about the pilot's critical decision when the ATC is giving order to either climb and when the TCAS is giving order to descend. So the decision making is very critical on who to trust, either ATC or the TCAS. Some say that, some pilots also think that TCAS instrument sometimes gives a faulty readings. Maybe we need to rely on ATC because they are giving the data accurately, because it depends on the human centric level, guys. So again, in this particular situation, well, there are more questions rising about, one was the TCAS and another was the situation awareness from the US-60 Blackhawk pilots there. So like I said, guys, I'm not making any conclusive statements here based on whatever I've seen the footage and the recordings, but like I always say for every incident, that I always rely on the investigation of what exactly caused this devastating mid-air collision. But like I said, if you look into this footage again, this is really horrifying moment to watch. And even when rescuers immediately reached to the crash site, they saw that the CRJ was split in two. That means that during the collision, that the CRJ's fuselage split in two and crashed into the Potomac River. Right, guys, so I would like to pay my deepest condolences to all 64 passengers on the American Eagle flight, and also to pay deepest condolences to the 12th Aviation Brigade of the US Army's 3 soldiers who killed in this devastating tragedy. So alright, guys, so like I said, as of today, that the black box recorders have been recovered. So we will see what exactly the preliminary report will come through, and we will look forward for what's up the results of what exactly caused this devastating mid-air accident. So alright, guys, so thank you so much for watching this video, and please like and subscribe to my channel, and we will see you again in the next one. So until then, guys, fast flights and soft landings.